legislations, roles and responsibilities. Food regulations in KSA. Food legislation in Saudi Arabia is a set of regulations issued by the Ministry of Municipal and Rural Affairs in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and they determine the health condition and control that should be available to licensed establishment that engage in an activity related to food. The legislations aim in the first place to protect consumer health and safety and are to be implemented by investors in the field related to the general health and concern institutions of the Ministry of Municipal and Rural Affairs and its branches do supervise their implementation. The legislations consist of three main parts. The first part includes the general requirements that need to be available in an food premises, which are considered essential requirements for obtaining the licensing that allows the business and the activities within it to proceed. The second part includes the special requirements that are considered essential roles that must be applied very thoroughly and accurately during all specific operations. The third part includes the hygienic requirements related to employee in this establishment or premises, which must be followed in order to protect food and human health and safety. The role of public health inspector. The public health inspector is the person authorized to conduct health surveillance and inspection of food establishments, and any establishments have a direct relationship to the health and safety of citizens to ensure compliance with these facilities for ministerial legislations in order to maintain the health of citizens. The public health inspector should be familiar with scientific methods that must be followed very carefully during the inspection of facilities. In addition, should be fully conversant, familiar with all legislations of the various activities. The powers of public health inspector. The public health inspector may visit the premises unannounced and at any responsible time to carry out a routine inspection or respond to a complaint. There are certain actions they can take as power of entry. Enter the inspect the premises, ask question, take samples, size food, examine, inspect and test equipment, examine record and certificates, take photographic evidence, investigate an outbreak of food poisoning, irregularities and fines, start procedure to close the business. The action of non-compliance with legislations. The public health inspectors uses inspection checklist during the inspection of food establishments, include all items of general and special requirement that must be available at the facility. In the case of non-compliance with any requirement, it required action commensurate with the violence and may be any of the following: sampling, sizing, detaining, destroying food, prohibition from running a food business, fines, closure. Who are food handler? Where it is used, the term food handler mainly refers to people who directly touch open food as part of their work. They can be employed or agency staff. However, it also includes anyone who may touch food contact surfaces or other surfaces in rooms where open food is handled. This is because they can also contaminate food by spreading bacteria. For example, the surface that food will come into contact with, etc. Work tops and food packaging before it is used. They can also contaminate other surfaces such as door handles that can then contaminate the hands of people who handle food directly. For example, food handlers. The food handler is anyone who deal directly or indirectly with food's equipment tool, food contact surface, or with hand food contact surface in food area. The legal requirement of food handler: handling health certificates. Only person holding health certificates from the specialized medical office may be permitted to work in the field of food handling. This health certificate must prove their safety from infection, diseases that are transferred through food, and prove that they do not carry a organism for this disease. Health certificates are issued after performing the necessary medical test on the employee. The health certificate is valid for 1 year and is to renewed as soon as its validity ends. The same previous staff are to be taken in order to obtain a new certificate. Training on food safety. All employees are handling food must be trained on the health rules and requirement for handling food to prevent contaminations, infectious disease and injuries. No person suffering from or being a carrier of a disease likely to be transferred through food as afflicted. For example, with the infected wound, skin infection, sores, or diarrhea is to be permitted to handle food or entering any food handling area in any capacity of there is any likelihood or direct or indirect contaminations. Any person who receive a wound or work must be excluded from the work environment until the wound is fully and securely covered with a medical waterproof plaster of a bright color. A first aid box is to be made available for this purpose. In addition, the wounded employee must not get back to work except after wearing gloves that cover the wound or it has healed. Personal appearance and behavior. Keep themselves clean, keep the workplace clean, protect food from contaminations or anything that could cause harm. Follow good personal hygiene practices. Wear appropriate protective clothing. Inform supervisor immediately in case of suffering from food-borne illness. The legal requirements of the owner of business, responsibilities of employees, ensure staff are trained and supervised to an acceptable level, ensure the premises is registered with the local environmental health department, ensure the premises are designed, equipped, and operated to prevent contamination and the safe production of food, provide adequate washing facilities and arrangement for personal hygiene, ensure arrangements are made for the control of food waste, suitable storage, disposal, collection of rubbish and food wastage. There is legal requirement for staff is attend formal training course. The appropriate knowledge and competencies can be obtained in the formal training course. Anyone responsible for running a food business must ensure the adequate provision and procedure are put into place to ensure that all employees are aware of the potential food safety risk that may arise.